Swig of water. All right, here we go. Howdy, folks. I'm Mark, and today I am joined by Billie Cox. Billie, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, absolutely. Thanks for being here for this short talk about video games. And you are listening to Quick Play, so let's get into it. So it is June, and that means video game announcements. It is now the 5th year of Summer Game Fest, which I was writing that in the notes, and I thought for sure, it's been like now 3 years? It's been 5 years now, which is nuts. This is Jeff Keighley's conglomerate of events. I think it's kind of finally patched the pothole left by E3, which also found out was last held online only back in 2021. So it's been gone for a while now. But mercifully, Summer Game Fest has condensed down over the years to the span of a few days, which we're coming up on, rather than the sporadic months-long drip feed back in 2020. And so I had an episode like this last year going into Summer Game Fest with Landry and Jake, where we talked about our excitement and expectations, or lack thereof. But Billie, I'm back here again with you. One lap around the sun a little bit later. I want to consider the question again. What is your hype level going into Summer Game Fest?
I would say my hype level does not exist at all, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I have no expectations of what's going to happen, and no desire. It's weird. I don't feel like I could miss this and just read articles.
Sure, yeah. Is that new? Like, have you always been feeling that about, like, even E3, or is that a new thing for you?
Oh, that's new because E3, as far back as I can remember, when like G4 TV would just show you like the inside scoop of everything.
Yeah.
I watched that religiously, and then any online event that happens in general, I have a little bit of excitement for. I got hyped for the Smite little crossover they did last year that we talked about.
Yes.
So
yeah. I remember that.
I'm pretty usually like, okay, if I'm not like excited, I'm like, okay, I want to at least tune in so I can see what's happening. I have no desire this year right now.
Yeah, no, I get that, because I'm kind of in the same spot. Like, I don't really feel much about it. Like, oh, it's Summer Game Fest coming back around. I'm still excited to hear more. Like, I'm looking forward to even watching all these showcases or having them on the background or skimming through them after the fact. But I feel like I'm more excited to like talk about the announcements and kind of hear people talk about them than like actually imagining myself play any of the games shown. I think I'm starting to realize, and I was in a similar trajectory where it's like I feel like E3, and I don't think it's necessarily E3 being gone. I think I'm just kind of getting older and like how I'm playing games is changing. Like, I was so excited every year for E3 to see what announcements would happen, and now it's like, well, the time just keeps slipping away, and just Game Fest comes up sooner than I expect, and it's like, oh, it's here. Okay, I guess we'll digest this and like see what happens here. But even more so, if there are like 3 or 4 or 5 games over the whole span of this like long weekend that I will genuinely play, like I'm great. That's awesome. More than that,
that's a win right there.
Yes, yeah. Like I don't really want any more than that. But anything else that like any part of this that you're really looking forward to, or anything you're like hoping for?
I'll take it back to what you said a little bit. Where it's like people discussing it. I do like just getting on X and seeing the funniest little quips that people can make.
Yes. That is fun to kind of like, we're all watching this thing together. It's like this community event, and that's more of what I'm excited for than the actual announcements themselves. Any particular showcase that's on your mind? I know we've got a few.
While we're recording this, did you see the Stealth 40K tweets?
No, I have not.
He misquoted at the first time when he said the thing, but Jeff Keighley said it was going to be quite a year for big game releases, and he's diverting. He's just getting our expectations to be low already. Because in another tweet, he's like, "Oh, no Kingdom Hearts," and
right. I did see this. Yeah.
Yeah, he's setting the expectations very low too. And don't get me wrong, I want to see more games that's already been announced. If I can get any news on like the Ninja Turtles game that is being developed,
yes,
that'd be.
Well, I have to be more specific. There's like 5.
Oh, it's the last Ronin one where they're trying to do like the God of War thing.
Yes, that would be cool to see anything of. Actually, I think we got like concept art or something.
I don't even think we got concept art. It was just a logo, and it was like a logo that said could be changed.
Sure, gotcha.
From the last time I saw anything.
Yeah, I guess I probably saw like panels from the comic or something. I think for myself, like Xbox and Nintendo are the ones I'm most interested in. Which, granted, we don't know when Nintendo's will be yet. We're recording this Monday night.
We should have clarified that at the start. When you said Game Fest, I was just thinking Jeff Keighley's event. There's a lot of excitement I have for Nintendo.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course, yes. I was thinking Game Fest as in the stamp that Jeff Keighley puts on all the stuff that happens between like last Thursday, whenever the PlayStation event, all the way up to whenever the last thing happens in probably 2 weeks of
the hype up marketing cycle. Yeah, just
yes.
If they drop something in late July, he'll be like, "That's part of
Summer Games Fest." Yes, yeah. Well, I guess now that you know that the whole spectrum's available to you, anything you're actually excited for?
There's a little bit more excitement for Nintendo because we're seeing so many of the like. What is kind of funny call it with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse coming in with the Switch. So I'm just so excited to see if they make another remake or if they take this time to give us like a smaller title. They've got time to fill, and Nintendo's been so good since the Nintendo Switch where I think we get like one big game a month. And I can't think of a time when they've missed that. And it might not be your cup of tea like Princess Peach or let's think further back, one of the Kingdom Hearts games from last year. Not Kingdom Hearts, Fire Emblem.
There you go. Yes. It's all the same. Close enough.
But they always have some type of title each month. And it's going to be a while for the predecessor. So it's like, what are they going to show us to fill in this time?
Yes.
Because they have some.
And they're in such a curious spot because like this time last generation, it was like, let's move on from the Wii U. We gave you as much information about the Switch, like let you know what's coming. We're moving on. In this case, like they're really holding it back. We got that Furukawa tweet. And so in this weird spot where like they kind of set low expectations of don't expect any hardware announcements. Like we're looking at games for the last half of the year, but also puts it in this kind of open book spot where it's like, well, we still expect probably a game a month, or alongside around that pacing, and like what's it gonna be? Now we're kind of reaching the actual end of the Switch life cycle.
We got endless ocean, so the possibilities. Pushmo, we could get Chibi-Robo.
Yes.
Like I feel like those are big titles because it's been so long since we've seen them that they can throw out the things that are under their carpet that they swept up. And
yes, that's where the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker ports are.
No, those are not getting announced, and neither Silksong. Calling it right now.
No, that's pretty fair. I think so. Let's keep moving into like kind of the state of the big three. Talked about Nintendo. Any thoughts on Microsoft? I feel like they're in an odd spot right now. What do you think?
Honestly, all three of them are in such an odd spot where, like, y'all did such a fantastic job in the last couple of weeks mentioning like Xbox state of affairs with Game Pass. So they've got a lot of things rotting on it. PlayStation is in a big spot because their games cost so much. They're chasing this live service model. So it's and then Nintendo's just at a peak of their big console, and everybody knows the next one's coming out, but they want to ride sales as much as possible. So it's really fun to see, like, I say fun. Yeah, no, I mean fun. They're struggling in a weird sense, and that's when they can just push. They can push boundaries further. They're all desperate.
Yes.
And then that's where we as consumers come to top.
Yes, making big moves, kind of sway us. I think, kind of like to wrap a bow on PlayStation really quick, because they already had their thing. Apparently it occurred, and it was Astro Bot, and that's kind of the only thing that people took away. But for Microsoft and Xbox, I feel like I'm really curious to see what will happen, because I feel like everyone's coming into that with a critical eye. And kind of like, can they hold their promises right after these studio closures? Or like, will we see a bunch of live service stuff? Like, kind of what is their next move after this is the next big Xbox news stuff happening since the studio closures. And so even in a context where like they control the narrative, like this is their marketing thing, it still feels like it's this weird spot of like 50-50 of whether or not they're going to go in a good direction or bad direction, or what people will think them after. Like, will they announce new hardware even, or like something portable or a pro or something? And it's like kind of, yeah, I feel like you're mentioning of they might be in kind of a desperate spot to get back in good graces, and kind of what will they push out to do that?
Xbox is in the worst situation because Nintendo can just publish anything and it's like, meh, whatever. And then Sony can do the same thing right now, but man, they just need a win over at Xbox so desperately.
Oh, yes.
Do you think, okay, I know we're not trying to do predictions, but do you think Xbox is actually going to redeem themselves?
Not. Here's what I hope for. I hope it's a step in the right direction. I don't think this is going to be like the total 180 of like, oh yeah, they're back on top now. They could have, if they have the best showcase of any of these dozen things happening, like that's a great step. I don't think that's enough to get them back into like a good light yet. So, what do you think?
I think they're just screwed either way, honestly. Because they're just so, at least from our perspectives, that follows like the behind the scenes of video games. No, they could drop like a New Gears of War, a big Halo remaster, or they can drop anything, and I don't think they're going to get any win at all.
Yes.
Like from the feedback from the community.
Yeah. It's almost always like even the best case scenario would be like too little, too late. But, well, I'm still hopeful for them, and I'll be curious to see what happens here. Going beyond the big three, any of the other showcases coming up that you got your eye on?
I'm really hoping Smite will appear at least at Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. As a free-to-play jabroni, I love Smite. I followed them on the socials, but I don't see anything. So they're not capturing an audience, even though they're about to release Smite 2.
Gotcha.
I'm seeing no coverage at all. So they need to, I'm hoping they step up. Hi-Rez will get into one of these bigger shows.
Gotcha. That would make a lot of sense. Is there any kind of release date on Smite 2, or is it just...
I know we're in the alpha, I think, this week.
Okay. Okay.
I've refused to play Smite since Smite 2 is coming out, so I'm waiting.
Do your purchases? I know you've sunk some money into that. Do they carry over? Do you know yet?
I think the last time I did a figure, $4,500 in the last 15 years.
Oh my goodness!
I say 15. It's almost 15. No, 12 to 14 years. Yeah, that much money in Smite. Guess how much is going to Smite 2? Almost jack nothing.
You've had your fun.
I had my fun. I'm not getting on there until Smite 2 releases.
Oh my goodness! Wow, I'm so proud of you. But that's wild.
It was like $60 like every month. I would spend a little bit here and there.
Wow.
Well, it's the only game I was playing, so it makes sense.
Yeah. There you go. Man, wild stuff. I will shout out one thing I'm always looking forward to is the Wholesome Direct. I shout its praises every chance I get because it's always a highlight. Like I think it's a really well done showcase that has just great pacing. They pack a ton of games in. There's always like something that's like it's a nice breath of fresh air when everything else is like a sci-fi horror game. But it's hilarious. Like it's everything fits the vibe of being a cozy game, but cranked to 11. Like it might as well be like an SNL sketch or something because it just keeps on building on itself, and it's like play as a cat in the kitchen while beanbags get thrown at you or something like that. It's a great vibe. So check it out.
Do you know if Capcom's having any type of showing anywhere?
I don't think so. I think I saw this was actually I think like a Kit and Krista tweet where Capcom sent them something. They'll have a presence at the Summer Game Fest actual show on Friday.
Oh, that's going to be good. I'm hoping for. Last year we got the Mega Man Battle Network remasters with all the games on like one cartridge.
Yeah.
And it sold pretty well for such a niche title, remaster handheld games. So I'm hoping that's leading us up to a new game.
That'd be nice. That's kind of your one hope for the whole weekend.
That's my one hope. I don't care where it shows up. And that's why I'm going to have to watch everything. That's going to get overshadowed in all the tweets and stuff. So I actually have to watch it just to see if it gets mentioned. I won't find out any other way.
There you go. Well, our time is short, but before we go, this you might have just given it, but do you have one prediction for all this stuff happening?
Okay, I'll restate it. There's not going to be Silksong at all. No.
Yes.
Mega Man Battle Network new game, and I think Mario Sluggers.
Oh, I would enjoy that. Like a good old Mario Sluggers. One thing that comes to my mind is I bet we'll see a lot of Indiana Jones at the Xbox showcase, probably get a release date there. And what I'm staking my claim on here is that we'll get some like a reference joke to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The knockoff Harrison Ford will give some sort of gruff, like, what'd you expect, aliens? Or something like along those lines. And it'll be
Are you excited for that game?
I am. I think it looks great. Okay, I'm really curious about it. So
I've never liked the IP, so I'm like...
Oh, I do dig some Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I have to wait to see what the game's going to be.
Yeah. I'm curious about it. I'm very hopeful. I'm curious. I think it'll be great. Well, Billy, moving to our final form here. What are you playing?
I'm playing just TCGs, Pokemon, Digimon, Cards Universe, and everything. Marvel Snap.
Very nice. Can't stop the cards. Well, I am playing some Chants of Sennaar. Well, Billy, thank you for joining me here. Where else are you out on the internet?
I am Noah's Guy everywhere, but don't worry, I'll find you.
There you go. Oh, thank you all for listening in. You can follow us on the major podcasting services. You can find us on the proper socials at Quick Play Pod and let us know what is your hype level going into Summer Game Fest 2024. I actually might have gotten a little more hype through this whole 18, 19-ish minutes. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you.